It's someone who believes, they accepts Jesus, they're saved in the Holy Spirit, they accept him as their Savior, but they don't follow a damn thing he says. Are they still good to go?
I think that's like 90% of how Christians live.
Yeah. But, well, yeah. That's a good point. You got to at least try. You can ask for forgiveness, I get that, but you got to at least try.
Absolutely. And that's where people, they go, well, I went to church, check it off the list. You know, I did my Bible study, check it off the list. You know, they don't, it's all works. Even that faith that a lot of Christians have is just that, oh yeah, I believe because I went to church because my pastor said. And they worship their pastor. They worship who is on the stage instead of who is actually.
You see that too?
Oh yeah. It's, you know, all these
most people don't perceive. Yeah, they don't have that perception.
You look at these mega churches.
But you think I'm going to heaven, so that's crazy. If you think I'm going to heaven, then any Christian's going to heaven.
All the animals will be there too.
See, that's a minority position as well.
Well, it's not heaven if my horse isn't there.
They don't have souls.
Yes.
It's not heaven if your horses aren't there. But then I asked you about your daughter in hell. If your horse isn't there, it wouldn't be heaven. But you still said you might be comfortable in heaven if you had a family member in hell burning.
But it wouldn't be heaven if there were sadness either. So how could I be sad?
I'm asking you.
Heaven.
How can you be sad? Wouldn't you be? Isn't it a given you would be sad if you had a family member burning?
But then how could it be heaven if all of our family wasn't there? So they would have to all be in heaven.
But what are the chances of everyone in your family getting to heaven?
Well, no, I'll have to wait and see.
Only 1/3 of the world is a Christian.
Right.
So right off the bat, 2/3 are going to hell. Oh, you do agree with that? No, you don't.
Saying,
but according to the Bible,
statistically,
yeah. And then of that 1/3, there's some people that they're only Christians on the lips. They're not even real. Yeah. So I mean, we're talking about a small percentage of the earth that even have a chance to get to heaven. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Here's a good one. I think we might have touched on it in the meetings a couple times, but maybe something we can agree on or maybe not. Separation of church and state. Police cars with "In God We Trust" on the back. Money with "In God We Trust." Coins "In God We Trust." Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God. 10 Commandments monuments in front of city halls. You know there's more religions than just Christianity.
Right.
And whether or not you think America was built as a Christian nation or not, that's not even my argument. My argument is, does the First Amendment, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, meaning the government, city, state, or federal government can't place one religion higher than the others.
Right.
So if you give this religion favor, you got to give them all favors, or no favors.
Right.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
If your Christian friends, if you go to church and let's say you're sitting around, you do a Bible study, or you're just going to dinner with a bunch of other Christians, and they start talking about, all these atheists, everyone's fighting this, because our local police department put "In God We Trust" on the back of the vehicle. And we're all for it. Would you have the courage to speak up and say, yeah, that might not be such a cool thing?
Yeah, because for me, like me personally, singing "God We Trust" on things, that's great for me because I believe that. However, I do not think it needs to be in places, because if we all need that equal treatment, that fair thing, then there's going to be so much crap everywhere with all of the religions, and all of the people make up some more.
Would you rather that be just not on government property?
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be.
Would you tell your friends that?
Probably.
Do you think that would make you not so popular? Or at least your position on that not so popular?
Meh.
They'd fight you on it.
I got friends from all sides of the spectrum.
Have you in the past? Has that come up?
No.
No?
It hasn't.
But you'd have the courage to voice your opinion?
Yeah. There'd be somebody in the room that agreed with me.
Oh, another thing. It was one of our very first meetings, and Kendra, one of the other atheists there, she mentioned how we're always being shit on. Atheists get shit on. And
yeah.
you guys were almost dumbfounded. I saw the look on your
Right.
face. You're like, really? I just don't see Christians shitting on you. And you guys couldn't believe it. And we're trying to explain to you how bad we get persecuted.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. It was so weird to me how you never, that it's kind of like the troubles, if you're a certain race or a certain sex, that maybe something I will never know because I'm not that.
Exactly.
Something that another person's going through. That someone died. I hear that a lot. That's a whole chapter in my book. Like what to do when a Christian says, I'll pray for you. But I know you're just being funny, but some do it as a weapon. Like, I know you don't believe, and I'm going to pray for you.
See, I'm not okay.
It can be a weapon.
Like, for me, I say that to people as I care, and that's why I say it. However, if I knew...
If you knew I'm not a believer...
If I knew that you were not okay with it, and I do that a lot
It doesn't offend me at all.
Right.
And we're friends. That's cool. But if you said... You could see how someone could say it as a weapon. Like, I don't care. There's nothing you can do to stop me. I'm going to pray for you. And it's going to hurt you. It's going to make you feel icky. Or whatever. You know, some people do it as a weapon. And it's a persecution that was unseen by you until we started telling you. And it just so happened, you know, Buddy, the other guy, the hippie, the one with the ponytail, we have a little, in our hometown here, Midlothian Talk. It's a Facebook page. It's just people that live here in this town, right? And he got on there saying something about the separation of church and state and police cars and all that thing. And he was voicing his concern, and he shared a letter to the editor. He was in the Waxahachie Light. It was in a local newspaper. And here came the Christians. Hey, hippie. Oh, hey, if you don't like it, move. And it just, and I wanted to copy and paste this to show you and Josh and the others just how bad it gets. All you have to say, sir, you know, just stand up and say, I don't think police cars should have In God We Trust on them, and just watch how much hate you get.
And that's what is so sad about how, you know, that's those Christians that call themselves Christians because they go to church on Sundays, you know, but yet their actions show everything but love, everything but acceptance, tolerance, everything. And that's really sad because, you know, when you tell somebody, you know, move out of your own town, it's like,
and that's
not okay.
That's the light example. It gets way worse than that.
Now, you know, and especially like in schools. Now, I always thought, I was like, well, I want my kid to say, you know, the Pledge of Allegiance. Now that I kind of see as different because that is more of a, I don't know, you know, the one nation under God. That it's just such a history thing. That's really where I see it. Now, however, if they had the 10 Commandments, that would be great for me, for my child, and how I want my kid to be raised. But if I want that, I need to be going to a different school, to a Christian-based school, not a public school. You know, that should not be in a school that is for the entire community. It should not, and we shouldn't have prayer rooms for any religion.
That's so awesome, Molly. I'm just wondering how apt you would be to say all this in front of your Christian friends. Or if you would be hesitant.
No.
Not a bit.
No. But I tend to not really get on political talks anyway.
Yeah.
Because it requires too much talking, too much peopling.
The pledge, you know, one nation under God. Under God was, you know, added later.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I homeschooled.
In the late 50s.
Oh.
And it was because, you know, with the Soviet Union and the Red Scare, the communist scare, you know, that's when they started adding God and stuff to the money and to the pledge. So that's not from our American history. It's just from our recent history. Just since after World War II. Yeah. It used to be one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It didn't have God in it.
And see, even in regards to money, you know, having one nation under God. Now, my checks, I had it printed where it says one nation under God.
That's your
my checks. My checks.
Go for it. I'd support you.
But to have it on money that goes everywhere, you know what? To me, it loses its power. When you have it printed on everything and it's just flapping around everywhere, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
And it doesn't even say which God. It just says God.
Yeah.
Like, is your dad still alive?
No.
What was his name?
Steve.
What did you call him?
Dad.
See, one nation under God. God's like Dad. God's not your God's name. Yeah. Your God's name is Yahweh or Jehovah or whatever you want. There's about 15 different words for him, names for him in the Bible, but God could be any God. But you called your dad Dad. There's lots of other dads, but that was your dad.
Yeah. Exactly.
A lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, you don't know how many Christians I've asked, what is your God's name? God. Oh, what's your dad's name? Steve. Okay, so what's your God's name?
Yep.
You don't know.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
So in God we trust. It still even works for Muslims.
It does.
Because Allah just is the Arabic word for God.
Mm-hmm.
The only one it really doesn't work for is non-believers.
Exactly.
Still though, that's enough reason.
Yeah.
About this one. Everyone that was born before Jesus was born.
Mm-hmm. I wonder about those people.
Where are they?
I don't know. I've wondered
Good
that
question.
too.
Yeah. Because there's I can't tell the joke right, but it's an expedition that goes up to Arctic Circle and they find some Eskimos that had never had contact with anyone, and they were Christian, they were preaching the gospel, and the guy's sitting there ice fishing, and he's like, oh, so Jesus is the way to get to heaven. What would have happened if I had never known about Jesus? Oh, of course you would just go to heaven automatically. Then why the hell did you even tell me anything? Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. Makes sense.
But you don't have an opinion on what's the fate of the people that were born before?
No. And
good answer.
With that,
I don't know is a good answer.
Yeah. Because, I mean, really, if they don't know, then they're not denying anything.
Where would you guess they are right now? Their souls?
I would say heaven.
Just on default?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the...
That's where you go.
Okay. Did you want to plug anything? Did you want to...
No. Unless I can get
What
money
church do you go to?
SOMA Waxahachie.
SOMA Waxahachie.
Yes.
Do you know? You don't know the website? I'll find
SOMAWaxahachie.org.
Maybe. I'll put it
One
in.
of those?
Yeah, I'll put it below for you. The church she goes to. I'll put an event information on the meetup that we go to in the event that you live in the South Dallas-Fort Worth area. If not, then maybe you can put together something of your own. Last question. Ready?
Okay.
It's the question I ask everyone, and since you're a Christian, I'm going to tailor it. I even ask atheists this, but I have to reword the question. Mm-hmm. So, did I already ask this? If there were irrefutable proof that God did not exist? Okay.
No.
If there was, I'm talking proof. I don't say that word very often. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking a preponderance of evidence. I'm talking everyone on earth knows it. Mm-hmm. This is a hypothetical. If there were irrefutable proof that no gods existed. Mm-hmm. We're here on our own. It was Big Bang. We don't know how it started, but it definitely wasn't a god. Mm-hmm. And here we are. We're on our own. Mm-hmm. Would you want to even know that information? And if so, how would it change your life? Would you go back to alcohol? Would you be a more depressed person? Would you still go to church? Stuff like that.
You know, honestly, I don't think I would want to know, because I think that it would cause me so much just lack of anything in
You're
life.
the first person that said you would not want to know.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
It's
interesting.
It's the what is it? I would rather live my life believing in God and finding out that there wasn't than.
Oh, that's Pascal's Wager.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like hedging your bets, but it only really works if there's one possible God.
Right.
And there's 300 gods right now that are being worshipped. Yeah. On the planet. Mm-hmm. It's just so happens the one you believe in is the most popular. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean there's still 299 more. Mm-hmm. So Pascal's Wager doesn't really work if you roll a dice and 1, 2, and 3 you're going to hell, and 4, 5, 6 you're going to heaven. Mm-hmm. But now roll a 300-sided dice. That's that's the difference. That's Pascal's Wager is. There's a lot of flaws with it. I understand. To believe a falsehood and be comfortable, or to know the truth, which is very uncomfortable. What would you rather?
Ooh.
An uncomfortable truth, not that stupid movie, but an uncomfortable truth or a comfortable lie, or a comfortable falsehood, not a lie.
Well, but would it even be a lie if I don't even know? Because if I knew that it were a lie, then I would know.
You wouldn't know.
Then no.
Then you would rather be comfortable and think that you're believing the truth. That's an honest answer.
I wouldn't know.
It's the first time anyone's ever answered it like that, but that's really honest. Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie The Matrix?
Yeah.
It's been so long. Yeah. One of the guys that were living outside of the Matrix wanted to go back in the Matrix because life on the outside, they're living in the spaceship, they're eating slop. He wanted to go back in the Matrix, and where his body's lying in a pod, but he wanted to get reinserted into the Matrix so he could be someone important and be rich inside the Matrix. It wouldn't be real, but his mind would think it's real, but his real body would be sitting in a pod. And he was trying to get back put into the dream state. But when he went back in, it would be under the condition that he had no idea that the real world was out there.
Yeah.
He wanted to think that he's in the real world. And he was trying to get back in. Would you be kind of like him? Would you want to go into that dream world where it would be way better and way more comfortable than living in the real world where everything sucks and you're eating slop?
That's hard. I mean, I want to live in the real world, but...
You'd like to know the truth, no matter how uncomfortable.
But my thing would be...
If there were no God, you just said you didn't...
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to know.
But if I knew...
You still want to keep believing.
But if it was a lie, then I would... Then somebody... how would I have known it was a lie? I would have known that... the truth. So that's where I'm saying. So that
you're given the choice to know it or not, and you're choosing to not know it,
so that I can continue to live. However, if I knew it was a lie, then obviously
let's say you weren't given the choice, and now you know for a fact. How would it change your life?
Completely.
Yeah. Like you weren't given the choice to not know or to know.
Right.
Like it was just dumped on you. Oh, there's no God. Would you be more depressed?
Probably at first. And then I'd go, and then I would look
suicidal?
And then maybe I would look at, okay, if there is absolute proof that there is no God, then all of this stuff from my life was me. So therefore, I would pick my ass back up and keep going.
You think you'd be able to do it?
Well, obviously, if I had done it all this time.
And you thought it was only through God's help. But then you'd know for sure that it was all you. And since you did it once before, you could keep doing it. You good? That's good. Wow, man. That's it. You got anything else to add?
No.
Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
All right.
An unholy thing. An unholy thing.